Okay, so this is a concept you guys are familiar with. It's just going to go back over a lot of exponential rules. So we're going to start off with 64 to the 2/3. So remember, anything that's in a fractional format in an exponent is really just a root. So if I have the square root of x, it's really x to the 1/2 power. If I have the cube root of x, it's really x to the 1/3 power. If I have a base and I have a over b, what it really is a base a over 1 times 1 over b. If I have x to where I have two powers, you can actually rewrite it as such. Okay, so we're basically using these rules right here to be able to solve this problem. So let's go to 64 and 2/3. I know 64 and 2/3 is going to be either 2 over 1 times 1 over 3, or I could write it as 64 1 over 3 times 2 over 1. So I can utilize this in either direction. I'm going to solve both. You decide which one works best for you. 64, 2 over 1 means squared, parenthesis, 1/3. Notice I'm using this rule right here to create this scenario. Then I come over here to the right and I go 64 to the 1/3 squared. Well, 64 to the 1/3 I know is the cube root of 64, this whole thing squared. So let's go 64 squared. I'm going to have to use a calculator on this one. 64 squared is 4096 to the 1/3. Oh, well, that means that this is the cube root of 4096. Well, the cube root of 64 is 4, because 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So I know that this is actually, I'm going to just scroll this up. This is, I know, this is, I know, 4 cubed to the cube root, quantity squared. Now recall that when you have a cube root of a cube or cubing a cube root, what happens is those cancel each other out because it just becomes a fraction 3 over 3, which is just 1. So I'm left with 4 quantity squared, which I know is 16. Well, 4096 is actually 16 cubed. Cube root, those cancel, so I'm left with 16. And that is basically it. That's all you're doing. You're just separating the exponents, deciding whether you're going to square or cube root or whatever numbers you're given first, and then you just follow the process and you just follow the rules that are over here on the right. And that's how you solve it. So it doesn't matter which direction you go. It's pretty straightforward.